there, it's Nicole from Mama Elephant, and today I'm showcasing the awesome new Rockin' Paws stamps and coordinating dies. This is an awesome stamp set for creating all kinds of different greeting cards, but I really love those stamp sets that will work great for boy cards. I'm always on the lookout for stamp sets that are going to work for boys because I sometimes think they might be a little bit harder to come by. Now, this definitely will work for lots of different cards and styles, but I thought it would make an incredible boys themed birthday card. So I stamped the drummer image from the Rockin' Paws stamp set on some smooth white cardstock using the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. This is going to be a great ink for Copic coloring, which I am coloring in my puppy with Copic, or my whole image with Copic markers. The colors I am using are shown across the bottom of the screen. I'm using one of my favorite color combinations for coloring fur, the E40, 43, 44, and then a little 49 as well. I don't know if I just wasn't thinking about it or I don't know, but that little circle around the dog's eye, you could definitely go a little bit more wild with that if you wanted to and color it in with a bright color to give it even more of that rock and roll theme. I did it more like a spot around the dog's eye, and I'm going to darken it up using my two darkest colors, the E49 and E44, but you could do whatever you wanted here. The majority of the dog's body is going to be the E43 and E44 with a little E40 on the nose area itself. But I tried to keep the rest of it. I kind of eventually darkened it up. I always start kind of light and darken things up as I color. Once I get him about shaded the way I want him to, I am going to add some dot detail using my darker markers kind of just around the edges or whatnot. I love that for fur. I think it adds some great texture to the card. One thing I was doing the whole time I'm coloring this image, I had a general idea. You can see in the upper right corner of the screen, I've got my Columbus circle die. I knew I wanted to create a window to the inside of my card, and I knew I was going to use this black cardstock card base. I thought it would work great for a rock and roll kind of themed card. I liked the dramatic black and the window to the inside of the card, but I was trying to figure out how I could really highlight the image. When you're creating a window to the inside of the card, and it's a solid cardstock, meaning it's not a different color on the inside. This is black, complete black cardstock. It's black all the way through. I didn't really want the front of my card to be black and then the inside of my card to the window to be black as well. So I was trying to figure out how to create a really amazing backdrop for my drummer. And I think that's really what makes this image shine, is when I finally kind of came up with an idea. So I'm kind of excited to share that portion of the video with you as well. I kept the colors pretty minimal to my drum set, all in shades of red and gray. I kept them minimal to really kind of keep the emphasis on the image. I didn't want to pull in a bunch of new colors. I really wanted it to kind of have that rock and roll theme, and so for this particular card, I really liked that. Once I have him completely colored in, I'm going to take the coordinating Rockin' Paws die and just tape that in place and run it through my Sizzix Big Shot. I like to tape my dies in place because I'm always worried they may shift and I may ruin all of that hard coloring that I just did. That's a lot of hard work down the drain. It's happened many times, so I've gotten smart and I usually just tape them in place. I reuse my Post-it tape until it doesn't stick anymore, so I can get the most out of my Post-it tape. I am going to take the cute little paw print from the Rockin' Paws stamp set and stamp that on that center drum. Great little accent that really kind of reinforces the whole rock and roll puppy kind of theme. Then I'm going to take my Columbus circle and my black card base, and I'm going to tape that in place on my card. I've opened up the card so it only will die cut through the front of the card, leaving about the same amount of space on the top and the sides. Go ahead and pop that out, and you can see I'm going to have this great window now to the inside of my card. Gives a great interactive element and feel to the design. I did stamp a banner here. I'm not showing that portion of it because I ended up changing my greeting. There's nothing wrong with the greeting here. What happened was I really wanted to be able to incorporate the birthday greeting with the Keep on Rockin' greeting, so I went with a different banner, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. I did stamp one of the thought bubbles from the Rockin' Paws stamp set on some smooth white cardstock, just using the black ink again. I'm going to cut out my thought bubble using some metal scissors or snips here. Go ahead and tape my die in place again, and I'll run that through my Big Shot. For the inside of my card, what really kind of makes this whole stamped image pop, I trimmed down a piece of watercolor cardstock to 4 by 5¼ inches. And then I am inking it up with chipped sapphire and peacock feathers distress inks. The peacock feathers is going to be along the bottom edge of the card. In fact, it's probably going to be about 2/3 of that background is going to be peacock feathers. Once those are blended, I am taking the Sunny Skies Stamp Set Sunrays stamp, and this has no ink on it at all. I spritzed it with water from the distress sprayer, and I'm stamping it on the cardstock and holding it down in place. You can see that that water then is wicking away from the design of the sunray, which I totally love. I'm going to go ahead and do that on each side of the sunray, or that center sunray. Again, just spritzing it with water, holding it down a little bit, and then blotting it dry with a paper towel. And you can see that it's giving that kind of spotlight look, which is what I was going for. I want it to look like this spotlight is shining down on my rock and roll drummer. Again, I'm going to blot that dry. I'm going to take my distress sprayer. I'm going to spritz that whole panel again so it has even more distressing and little water droplet areas where it's going to be lighter. I'm going to take my paper towel and blot that dry. And I am left with this awesome, awesome background that is going to work great for my little puppy drummer. Go ahead and move everything out of the way. I'm going to grab my card, and especially through the window, I think it looks incredible. Not only that, but it's going to provide a great place to write the greeting on the bottom inside of the card as well. I used a little Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen on parts of the areas of the drum. I'm also going to use the Sakura Black Glaze pen on the nose and eyes. It's something I almost always do for my critters. You can definitely tell the difference. It really makes the face pop. And I'll go ahead and attach my thought bubble that I already stamped and die cut to the outer front edge of my die cut window. It says rock and roll. The inside panel, once it's dry, I am going to attach that to the inside of my card. That lighter area on the bottom is going to give me the perfect place to handwrite a greeting. I'll attach my puppy drummer to the inside as well. And I just was really happy with how that background turned out. It really makes a huge difference and highlights the image the way I wanted it to be highlighted. So I'll kind of center him there, adhere him in place. He is going to be visible not only when you take the card out of the envelope, but when you open the inside of the card as well. Now I needed to stamp my greeting. And I'm going to use the banner die from the basic die collection from Mama Elephant and die cut that from some vellum. And then I've got my two greetings, the It's Your Birthday and Keep on Rockin' from one of Mama Elephant's original stamp sets. It's from when Mama Elephant first came out. I've had this stamp set forever. I absolutely love it. And I think the greetings work perfectly with these images. I'm going to ink those up with Versamark ink and stamp them on my vellum banner. Get those centered. I'm sorry, my head is in the way. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some platinum embossing powder. And I chose to use the platinum embossing powder instead of like maybe a white, which also would be great. But I'm going to be using some Pretty Pink Posh silver star confetti to kind of scatter around my card. And I thought that it would be a nice accent. Or another great way to add in a little bit more of that silverish platinum kind of feel. The great thing about the basic banner is it folds in. It has some little die lines there, or little fold lines. I'm going to add little adhesive dots behind both of those areas after I fold it in, center it below my drummer, and then attach that right there to my card base. Next, I'm going to take the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium and add little dabs of glue all over the place. And then go ahead and adhere my Silver Star confetti all over the scene. I'll even add some up above on the front of the card and down below by the greeting banner and below that as well. Just kind of keeps the whole theme going, adds a little embellishment to that white space underneath the banner. Thanks for watching this video showcasing the Mama Elephant Rockin' Paws stamp set and coordinating dies. The supplies I've used to create this card are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Here are a couple more Mama Elephant videos you might be interested in. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.